You're watching Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-host Kayleigh McEnany. Also joining us today, anchor and executive editor of The Story, Martha MacCallum, host of Kennedy Saves the World podcast, Kennedy herself, and Fox & Friends Weekend co-host Pete Hegseth. Also served, he salutes, and we say thank you.
Of course.
We begin with the day that changed America forever. It's been 22 years since the terrorists attacked our nation on 9/11, but our commander-in-chief will be thousands of miles away from any of those sites. Memorials were held at Ground Zero in Lower Manhattan today, as they have been every year since that fateful day, and at the Pentagon, where the terrorists crashed American Airlines Flight 77. And a moving ceremony was held at the Flight 93 National Memorial in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where brave souls aboard the plane that day, no doubt, saved countless other lives on the ground. President Biden, however, is breaking with any tradition. Not at an attack site, not at the White House. He's going to commemorate the 9/11 attacks at a military base in Alaska. It's the first time that a president did not attend a service at both those places, or all of those places I mentioned. Biden will spend less than 2 hours there at the base when he meets with military families later today. And the president did have a Ground Zero replacement today. It was Vice President Kamala Harris appearing in his place. Pete Hegseth, I know it's not about them, and it's about the families. And it's about those who remember that day, particularly changing America in their hearts. So it's not about Biden. However, he's not even going to speak on it. His remarks are going to be hours after what we traditionally see as time zero, and that's in the morning.
It's not about Biden. It's about the families, which is why Biden should be there, as an acknowledgement and a reflection of how significant it is. You know, we had Peter Doocy on Fox & Friends both on Sunday and Monday reporting from Vietnam. And he said, some White House officials off the record basically said, well, we weren't at Pearl Harbor 22 years after December 11th, 1941. So at what point does this sort of, it was implied, Peter didn't say this, but at what point do we kind of move on? And what I'm so proud of this network is for, never forgetting means you don't move on, means you focus on it. And we've done right by that coverage here. When my wife sent me a picture of the other networks at the top of the hour at 7 and 8, they're on to different things. If
Even when we know that the planes were getting hit, at that time they weren't
I don't know if it was the 7 or the 8 o'clock hour, but I know we're the only ones that replayed in real time what happened, because you have to remember the depth of the evil, radical Islamic terrorism that struck us. Sure, our response wasn't perfect 2 years ago. Today, we left Afghanistan, and now Al-Qaeda is back with the Taliban. And the mastermind of 9/11 still sitting at Gitmo. They want to cut a plea deal with them. Like, the border is wide open, and we've encountered over 150 known terrorists on the watch list there, more than the 17, 18, 19, and 20 combined. So it doesn't mean our response has been perfect, but reflecting on the heroism of that day is a really important thing, and passing it to the next generation.
What you laid out as our weaknesses, Martha, is what Senator Lindsey Graham told me last hour makes this moment for him, and looking back, the most dangerous for us getting hit again that he has seen since 9/11, because of all of those perforations in our national security. And, of course, he threw in China, Russia, and North Korea, and Iran.
Absolutely. And I just want to start by saying that I never make it through this day without shedding some tears. And it sneaks up on you unexpectedly because, yes, sometimes you feel like, well, it's been 22 years. But it isn't. It's very, very potent, right? Because the loss is so profound for these families. And one of our producers is there today reading names because she lost a family member there. And we all, as a nation, we owe it to these families and those who gave their lives to pause on this day. It is a very deliberate decision for a United States president to decide not to be in these places on this day. Okay, so that's a deliberate decision. It's not just oh, well, we're moving beyond at this point. That's, somebody sat down and said, okay, so he could maybe do the Vietnam part first and then be back in time for 9/11. So that had to have come up. Kayleigh would know better than I, but that's deliberate. So you have to ask the question, and it's fine to ask the question of them, why? Right. Why did you decide not to do that at this point? And as far as the Taliban being back in control now, what a slap in the face to Pete, to everyone who served with our weapons. And this is, we find ourselves, where I live, they have these, things over the highway lately. If you see an act of terrorism or you suspect terrorism, I'm thinking,
You're in Jersey.
Why are they putting those up again now?
Yeah,
Do they know something we don't know, or is it just because it's the anniversary? But they hit the World Trade Center when I worked down there 7 years before 9/11. And so they have a long memory, and they do come back and reconstitute. So those are the things we need to think about.
So the White House was asked about this. Last Thursday, Karine Jean-Pierre said, first 9/11, look, the president is going to mark the anniversary of September 11th attacks this year in Alaska. As you just mentioned, she's talking to the press corps, with service members and their families. He does this every year. He's done it every year. He plans to honor the lives lost and the families and loved ones still feel the pain of the terrible day. Look, Martha, you're right. They could have changed the flight plan. That was on Thursday when we asked her. So, you know, by a few hours, I know they have to refuel. I get it. I know how it works. It's very far. But you can make that stop. You can game that out if this is your priority. Kennedy.
It's not the priority. It is absolutely an afterthought. And it is a slap in the face to those who served and those who enlisted after 9/11. And the level of heroism that took for people who knew, you know, after really generations who didn't see an active theater of war, who knew what they were going into. And the families, you know, to Pete's point, the president could meet with the families privately. You know, he can have a private commemoration if it's too much for him, if it's too taxing for the president to stand up and say, you know, we don't forget, we won't forget. We were all changed. And for those people who were living in New York, there is a loss there that will, the time, I'm sorry, it just will not fill. And if you have a chance, wherever you are, go see a monument. Go see if they have put up American flags here at Fox on the ticker. We have the names of all those who have lost their lives on 9/11. So take that moment for reflection, even if your tainted, shady media won't do it for you.
Wow. By the way, KJP, the White House has put out that there will be a memorial installed on the North Portico to remember the 22nd anniversary of the terror attacks.
That feels a lot like September 11th, 2001 is being commemorated by the Biden White House as a box-checking exercise. And make no mistake, commemorating that awful day is not a box-checking exercise. My boss, former President Trump, made it a point each and every year to honor these families on September 11th. I was with him on September 11th, 2020. I remember being on Air Force One. I remember the team realizing as we landed, oh, wait, 8:46 a.m. Eastern time is going to hit while we're on this plane. We need to honor that moment. That's the moment the first plane hit the Twin Towers, and we did so. We paused in reverence and silent prayer. The press came in. Then the president went off. We all got in Ospreys and went off to Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where we sat, and it was eerie and it was silent, and those families were there. And he said this, President Trump, it was a unity based on love for our families, care for our neighbors, loyalty to our fellow citizens, pride in our great flag, gratitude for our police and first responders, faith in God, and a refusal to bend our will to the depraved forces of violence, intimidation, oppression, and evil. Those are the kind of words you expect to hear from a commander-in-chief. But instead, we have a commander-in-chief that failed us 2 years ago. He so badly wanted that picture of being out of Afghanistan. But instead, we saw the Taliban flag over Afghanistan. That is the legacy of this commander-in-chief on September 11th.
You know, I'm remembering back to Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and how just healing it was to see that each site now has been visited by President. It's important. It really is. But it does strike me that he won't speak until hours after. So we don't know maybe what he would have said, but if he's doing a good edit, maybe it'll be a good thing.